Om Gam Ganapati Namaha, Kaliyugada Kalpataru, the fifth delight, Shri Raghavendra Gurusarvabhauma, Chapter 62, The Vision and Teachings of Vagdevi. The third quarter of the night had passed, and half of the fourth quarter had also elapsed, yet Venkatanatha's thoughts remained endless. Suddenly, a series of radiant flashes, like multiple bolts of lightning, illuminated the surroundings. A wondrous, unprecedented brilliance spread in all directions. What is this marvel? Wondered Venkatanatha, glancing around in astonishment. What a sight! A divine woman, clad in resplendent white silk garments, with a waist adorned by a girdle of sparkling jewels, stood before him. Her celestial beauty glowed like the autumn lotus. Her eyes shone like the stars, and her form radiated an unparalleled charm. She was adorned with all kinds of ornaments, her lustrous black hair cascading like a waterfall, her face glowing like the moon, and her entire presence eluding divine grace. Was she a celestial maiden, a Kinnari, or a divine being? As Venkatanatha pondered in awe, the divine lady, as if reading his thoughts, spoke in a sweet melodious voice. O foremost among scholars, I have come seeking refuge with you. O foremost among the learned, the great sage Vedavyasaru granted me eternal youth, so that I may be a source of joy and delight to the most eminent of scholars. Thus, O Venkatanatha, I am known as Vidyalakshmi. The moment she spoke these words, her form radiated an even greater splendor. She stood before him like the divine goddess of wisdom herself, adorned with a crown of precious jewels, earrings that sparkled like stars, necklaces of pearls and gemstones, golden bangles, and anklets that chimed melodiously. She held a beautifully crafted veena in her hands, and her right hand displayed the Abhayamudra, granting divine reassurance. Smiling gracefully, she continued, When Sri Madhvacharya was but a child, he nurtured me, drawing forth the milk of wisdom from the divine wish-fulfilling cow of Brahma Sutras through his bhashyas, that is commentaries. Later, I was raised to adolescence by the great Jayatirtharu, on one of the most celebrated disciples of Sri Akshobhatirtharu. O Venkatanatha, my dear son, under the protection of Sri Vyasarajaru, the very same sage whose blessings turned the entire land into a sanctuary of learning and whose service to Karnataka's mighty emperor Krishnadevaraya brought him the title Rajadhani, I flourished. To ensure that I lived eternally, the great Vyasarajaru, in his unbound compassion, nurtured me like a celestial wine, allowing me to thrive through his masterpiece Taraka Tandava, and sheltering me within his nectarous composition Chandrika. I longed for a dear companion, and I found one in Sri Vijayendra Titru, who became my beloved sister in wisdom. With her assistance, I earned immeasurable renown across the world, and through her grand work, Nyayamrita Vakya, attained the form of a great flourishing tree. With great joy, she provided me with Amoda, a glorious commentary, like a protective canopy, shielding my vast knowledge. Sri Vijayendra Titru adored me with a pristine, vast, and ever-enduring silken pitamara, as radiant as the sun and the moon. O Venkatanatha, the very pitamara I am wearing now is the same one he bestowed upon me. To safeguard my ornaments and embellishments, he presented me with a beautiful gem-studded casket known as Tattvamani Krupetika. His great treatise, Nyaya Mautika Mala, became the pearl necklace that adores me. Just as a bride is adored with various ornaments, he gifted me a treasure of 104 scholarly works, embellishing me in every way. The wealth of victories he secured in the royal courts through my grace was acknowledged by your own Guru, Sri Sudhindra Titharu. The profound commentary Sadukti Ratnakara, which he composed for Vyasaraja Taraka Tandava, became the great stage upon which I stood. The extensive commentaries he authored on Bhagavata Purana, particularly the second and 11th skanda, became the crowning jewels of my diadem. Sri Sudindra Tirtharus enriched my world by composing Subhadra Paraniya, a beautiful drama, serving as a delightful garden for me to revel in. O dearest Venkatanatha, my very lifeline, the twin works of Chandrika and Nayasudha now lie neglected, fragmented, withering away. What purpose do these ornaments serve if the very essence of my being is fading? O noble one, if you compose grand and authoritative commentaries on Chandrika and Nyayasudha, strengthening their foundation, you shall be blessed. Otherwise, the path of Dharma will be lost from sight and righteousness itself will vanish. Are you truly a follower of Dharma? Are you devoted to the welfare of all beings? If you, an embodiment of righteousness, refuses to grant life to a helpless one like me, how can you ever be called Dharmavan? Smiling once again, Vagdevi continued, O child, when Alakshmi, the goddess of misfortune, sought refuge in you through a dream, your generous heart gave her shelter. Now when I, Vidyalakshmi, stand before you in person, pleading for refuge, will you deny me? With great reverence, Venkatanatha spoke, O mother, you seek my protection and plead for life. Yet, O Devi, are you not already under the shelter of my Guru, the noble Sri Sudindra Tirtharu? When he is fully capable of preserving and safeguarding you, why do you desire my refuge? With a deep sigh, Vagdevi responded, Venkatanatha, I shall remain in the care of Sri Sudindra Tirtharu for only 2 more years. After that, I shall become an orphan. Smiling softly, she added, instead of wandering from place to place in search of shelter, isn't it only right to seek refuge in the hands of the one I have already chosen? In the past, I held on to the hands of the illustrious Sri Vyasaraja Tirtharu, and under his care I flourished with boundless fame and glory. O Venkatanatha, you are the embodiment of Vyasaraja Tirtharu, the same divine radiance, the same enchanting smile, and the same luminous brilliance. Indeed, you shine in every way like my revered Vyasaraja. That is why I have come seeking you. Will you not offer me refuge, my son? Among the erudite scholars of this world, there exists no one but you, who is truly capable of composing commentaries on my lifetime, Chandrika and Sriman Nyayasudha, not just in the present age, but even among the scholars of future generations, none shall be your equal. Therefore, O blessed one, restore and enrich my life by writing commentaries on Chandrika and Nyayasudha and become my eternal savior. Hearing the divine words of the goddess, Venkatanatha realized that he was truly blessed. Drinking the nectar of Veenapani's speech, his entire being was electrified, as though a current of divine energy had surged through his body. Overcome with devotion, he exclaimed, O Devi, Vidyalakshmi, you have come seeking my refuge, and I shall indeed grant you shelter. Even as a householder, I will serve you by composing great treaties and fulfilling your wishes. Vagdevi, O jewel among scholars, you cannot provide me refuge while remaining a householder. Venkata, astonished, why, O mother? Vagdevi, listen, Venkatanatha, the great Sri Mula Ramachandra, who is the very embodiment of the 4 yugas and the bestower of the 4 Purushastras, has ordained that I must forever reside in the deity meant for worship. My father, Sri Vedavyasaru, has commanded this. Moreover, Sri Mularama accepts worship only from Paramahamsas, renounced ascetics. This is an eternal rule. I forever reside among such revered yatis, that is ascetics. Therefore, O Venkatanatha, you must first take sannyasa, become the sovereign of the Vedanta Vidya Samarajya Lakshmi, the empress of Vedanta wisdom, just as a great emperor rules his vast kingdom. Venkata to himself, Sannyasa, what a wonder! Everyone seems intent on making me a renunciate. First, Sri Moolarama and Sri Vedavyasa Devaru gave this command. Then, Srimadananda Tirtharu, that is Madhvacharya himself, followed by Sri Vijayendra Gurugulu, who instructed Sri Sudendra Tirtharu in dream to initiate me into sannyasa, and now, before my very eyes, the divine Vagdevi herself stands before me, urging me to renounce the world. Why is it that all of you together seek to make me an ascetic? Vagdevi, laughing melodiously, because, O child, you were born for sannyasa. Venkata, shocked, what do you mean, O mother? Vagdevi, O child, you have forgotten who you truly are. The veil of illusion woven by Sri Hari's divine Maya has clouded your mind, but now the time has come for that veil to be lifted. I have come to dispel your delusion and awaken you to your true self. Long ago, when you stood by me, you pleaded, O mother, when I forget everything, come and remind me of my true self. Venkatanatha, arise, know who you truly are, and fulfilling your divine duty. As the divine goddess Saraswati spoke, a brilliant streak of lightning like radiance emerged from her Abhayhasta, that is, hand bestowing protection, and entered Venkatanatha's heart. A surge of extraordinary divine energy flowed through his body like an electric current. Overcome by this revelation, the Acharya closed his eyes and entered deep meditation. A miraculous event unfolded. The darkness that had clouded his mind gradually dissipated, and a divine radiance illuminated his inner consciousness. In that supreme light, he saw his original identity, Shankukarna, a devotee dear to Brahma and Saraswati in Satyaloka. One by one, the past events of his soul's journey revealed themselves in his mind's eyes. The curse of Brahma, his Prahlada Avatara, his devotion to Lord Hari, and the hardship inflicted by his father Hiranyakashipu, the appearance of Sri Narahari, and the destruction of Hiranyakashipu, his hymns of praises to Lord Narasimha, earning the Lord's affection and divine blessings, his next birth as Bahilika in the Dwapara Yuga, serving Sri Krishna, and perishing in Kurukshetra war at the hands of Bhimasena's mighty mace, the boon from Bhimasena promising that he would be reborn in Kaliyuga to serve Sri Madhvacharya, his incarnation as Sri Vyasatirtharu, making immense contribution to the philosophy, literature, the propagation of Dvaita Vedanta, his widespread recognition and the service to Lord Hari through his extraordinary compositions, and now his present life, born as Venkatanatha by grace of Lord Venkatesha, destined to re-establish the glory of Dvaita Vedanta, uplift humanity, and fulfill a divine mission. One by one, these visions unfolded before him like the grand narration of his eternal soul's purpose. Overwhelmed, Venkatanatha called out in devotion. The goddess Saraswati smiled knowingly. At that very moment, all delusions and attachment within the Acharya vanished. His mind became steady. His self-awareness as an avatara of Shankukarna was rekindled, and tears of divine joy streamed from his eyes. He now knew his true duty. Falling at Vidya Devi's feet, he offered full prostrations and declared, O Devi, I am truly blessed by your grace. All my doubts have been dispelled. I am now ready to walk the path you have shown me. With a radiant smile, the goddess responded, So, after all, it took my personal intervention to make you realize your true purpose, didn't it? Pausing, she then gave a final warning. Now that you have accepted sannyasa, do you know what catastrophe would occur if you had refused and failed to become a Paramahamsa? Venkata, tell me, O mother. Vagdevi, Acharya, if you do not accept sannyasa, then the profound study of the Vedas, the Vedanta Shastra, and the eternal lineage of the Vedantic Vaishnava tradition will become obscure in this world. Without you, the Vedanta scriptures will fall into disarray, left incomplete and meaningless, becoming food for mice, much like the formless Brahman that the Mayavadis speak of. The very system of the Mimamsa which was meant to establish correct action, will instead turn into a subject of debate and distortion. If we do not take up this great responsibility, Brahma Sutras, Nyaya Sudha, and other fundamental texts will be interrupted by grammarians and not by those who uphold the true essence of Vedanta, the glorious tradition of great masters Sripadarajaru, Vyasarajaru, Vijayendra Tirtharu, Vadirajaru, and your own Guru Sri Sudhindra Tirtharu, who defended and preached Sri Vishnu's supremacy in royal courts, will collapse in future if we do not stand for it. Shakti, Surya, Subramanya, Vinayaka, Indra, and Rudra will be falsely declared as supreme in royal assemblies instead of Srihari. What could be more tragic than this? Today, across the land, mathas and temples echo with divine sounds of Vedic recitations. If you do not take sannyasa, these sacred institutions will turn into mere enclosures for foxes. The pristine Vedanta text, now filled with the divine words of truth, will decay into mere piles of dust-ridden manuscripts, infested with worms, losing their sanctity. O Acharya, if you do not accept this path, the lofty pupils where great Acharyas have debated and defended Vedanta will turn into empty, neglected ruins, abandoned by scholars and inhabited only by birds. The temples where Guru Parampara have worshipped will be left in darkness, their sacred lights extinguished, and in their place only the cries of owls will echo. Today, these divine sanctuaries are adored with fragrance of Dashangadupa, that is sandalwood incenses, and illuminated by rows of bright lamps. But if we do not take up this cause, these shrines will be lit only by the flames of cremation fires. Right now, the temple ceilings are graced with beautiful ketaki flowers, their fragrance purifying the air. But in the future, the same places will be covered in soot and filth from the streets, their sanctity lost forever. Venkatanatha, the joy I have when you become a Paramahamsa will never be the same if you remain in Grahasthashrama. Therefore, accept sannyasa, prevent these impending calamities, and dedicate yourself to the great mission of spreading Tattva-gnana, that is philosophical wisdom, worshipping the Supreme Lord, authoring profound text, and uplifting humanity. O Vatsa, Venkatanatha, you must embrace Paramahamsa Ashrama because there is an immense task ahead of you. The Vaishnava philosophy must be protected and established without obstacles, ensuring its permanence as long as the sun and the moon exists. Extraordinary text filled with deep knowledge must be authored to guide future generations. You must compose Dvaita-based commentaries on the Vedas to preserve their true essence. You must write authoritative expositions on Chandrika, Tarkatandava, and Nyayasudha, making them accessible and clear for scholars and devotees. You must also expand upon Sri Madhvacharya's commentaries and write explanatory treatises on other Vedic scriptures, strengthening the foundations of our Sampradaya. No one but you is capable of this monumental task, not now, nor in the future. Therefore, if you do not take up this duty, if you do not write the sacred works, if you do not uphold the very essence of Vedanta and protect me, the goddess of divine knowledge, then all will be lost. All attachments vanished from Venkatanatha. Tears of bliss and realization streamed from his eyes. O Mother Saraswati, he cried, I see the truth now. I accept your command. I will take sannyasa and dedicate my life to the path of knowledge. The goddess smiled radiantly. You have awakened, my child. Go forth, become the light of Vedanta, and illuminate the world. And with a final blessing, she vanished into divine radiance. Venkatanatha sat in stunned silence. All his previous dilemmas had vanished. His destiny was clear. Tears of gratitude and bliss filled his eyes. I am blessed, O Divine Mother. I shall walk the path you have shown me. At that moment, the first rays of dawn pierced the night sky. The new day had begun, not just for Venkatanatha, but for the entire world. For the sun of knowledge was about to rise, and soon the world would come to know him as Shri Raghavendra Tirtharu. the great beacon of Dvaita Vedanta. Acharya Venkatanatha descended from his bed and prepared to leave. Instinctively, his gaze fell upon Saraswati Amma, who lay there lost in deep slumber. Seeing her peaceful, unaware state, his heart melted with sorrow. He gazed at his devoted wife, who had shared every hardship of his life, and the weight of the inevitable separation struck him like a storm. O Saraswati, the will of the Supreme Lord, the command of Goddess Saraswati, and the call of duty for the welfare of the world have made your sacrifice unavoidable. Forgive me, O beloved Saraswati. Saying this in his heart, he turned away and walked out. Engaging himself in his morning ablutions, prayers, and worship, he immersed himself in the duties of the day. Meanwhile, Saraswati suddenly awoke. She instinctively looked towards the bed, but her husband was not there. She panicked. She rushed out, thinking, how could this happen? Every day I wake up before him. What offense have I committed that today? Of all days, I have failed to do so. Hurriedly bathed and dressed, she went to the deity room, where Venkatanatha had just finished his worship. Seeing her, he smiled gently. She bowed to him and said humbly, Swami, today I have committed a great offense by losing myself in deep sleep and falling to serve you in time. Please forgive me. Acharya Venkatanatha, with a serene smile, replied, Saraswati, why do you trouble yourself over such a small matter? It is only one day of delay. Let it go. Then he continued, I must leave now for the Mata. Hearing this, Saraswati signed in relief. She had noticed that her husband's unusual somberness was absent today. His face was calm and steady. There was no trace of yesterday's turmoil. Satisfied, she resumed her household duties. After completing Prata Sandhya, that is morning rituals, Venkatanatha approached Shri Sudhindra Tirtharu, who was deeply engrossed in the study of scriptures. Venkatanatha prostrated before him and spoke humbly, Guruvarya, yesterday I disobeyed your command and rejected your guidance. I must have caused you much distress. Please forgive me. Sri Sudhindra Tirtharu looked at him in surprise and curiosity. Acharya, you have done no wrong, he replied. Like any other young householder blessed with a virtuous wife and a happy life, you too had every reason to be attached to your world. Even the grandeur of ruling over the Vedanta empire did not tempt you. In truth, you are steadfast, you are fearless, sincere, and detached. It was not sorrow over your refusal that troubled me yesterday, but rather the thought that I had failed to fulfill Sri Moolarama's command. But tell me, Acharya, what has changed your mind? How has this transformation come upon you? Acharya Venkatanatha, with profound reverence, narrated everything: his turmoil and sleepless night, his contemplation on the call of duty, the miraculous appearance of Goddess Saraswati, her divine command for him to accept sannyasa, her prophecy of how the Vedanta tradition would decline if he did not take up the path of renunciation, the moment she granted him divine knowledge, revealing his past incarnations, how his doubts vanished, leaving behind only a clear sense of purpose. After I finished speaking, Sri Sudhindra Tirtharu stood motionless in awe, overwhelmed with joy. He rose from his seat, embraced Venkatanatha, and exclaimed, Ah, what great fortune! You have had the divine vision of Saraswati herself. You are truly blessed, Acharya. Now I understand why Sri Moolarama, Sri Vyasaraja Tirtharu, Sri Madhvacharyaru, all our revered Guru Padukas have chosen you to the successor to this Mahapita, the great seat of Vedanta. There is no surprise at all. Joy, supreme joy, our greatest concern has now been resolved. Then Sudhindra Tirtharu declared with authority, Acharya, we shall formally grant you the supreme ascetic order, Paramahamsa Sannyasa, at the royal court of Raghunatha Bhupala in Tanjore with great splendor. But first you must perform the sacred Upanayana, sacred Tit ceremony for your son, Lakshmi Narayana. Do not worry about the arrangements. We shall see to everything from the Matha. Until then, return home and spend your remaining days as a householder in joy with your wife and son. The matter of your renunciation shall remain a secret until you leave for Tanjore. With this command, he blessed Venkatanatha and sent him home. Venkatanatha left the monastery with a serene mind. His heart was no longer burdened. The path ahead was clear. His remaining days as a householder were now numbered. Soon, the world would witness the ascension of one of the greatest saints in history, Sri Raghavendra Tirtharu. When Acharya Venkatanatha returned home, his face radiated joy. The worry, turmoil, and the distress of the previous day had completely disappeared. Seeing her husband's cheerful demeanor, Saraswati Amma heart bloomed with relief. As soon as he entered, he smiled warmly and said, Saraswati, I have wonderful news. Hearing this enthusiasm, Saraswati Amma's eyes lit up. What is it, Swami? What joyous news is this? She asked eagerly. Acharya Venkatanatha grinned and declared, Our son Lakshmi Narayana is to receive his Upanayan, sacred ceremony. Guruji has given the command. Hearing this, Saraswati's face beamed with happiness. Truly, how wonderfully she exclaimed. Many times I have requested for this. This auspicious ceremony must be performed with great celebration. Swami, he is our only son after all. With that, the couple continued discussing the preparation for the event, immersed in joy and joyful anticipation, filled with excitement. Saraswati Amma busied herself with household work, preparing to make the occasion as grand and auspicious as possible. Hari Om. Om Sri Krishna Arpanamastu.